Now, this is yet another example of how the gods and goddesses meet our needs. Because, they can reflect to us the things that can draw us in to teach us lessons, or the things we need to work on ourselves, and also all the wonderful things that we are. All the wonderful great things that we are. I used to think that Odin was autistic, and I used to think that Loki was ADHD. I was questioning things, and I was like, well, maybe those labels are just, well, they are. They're just labels to bring descriptions to certain types of people and how we behave, and our needs, and how you're supposed to meet those needs, and what's the best way for us to function in this world. And I thought that these, when they tried to bring descriptions of the universe, they were portraying themselves onto the universe, because the majority of the time that's what we human beings do unconsciously until we become conscious of it. Quite often the gods are representations of different aspects of the human mind, the human spirit, human nature, and all the lessons we learned. Because it's people trying to bring descriptions to the universe and to nature and to world cycles, and trying to explain things like the afterlife and this life. And we do our very best to look at it from a universal natural perspective, but we are only one species walking this planet. And the thing is we do our very best to put ourselves into the shoes of the other species and all these other different people who have different life experiences, the male and the female, and people who are born to be, attracted to the same gender. We try and put it, but here's the thing. It's always going to be filtered through a human lens, because we are human. I used to think that it was like that, you know what I mean? That and Odin would be labelled autistic if he was around today, and that Loki would be labelled ADHD with the way he shows himself. But also the gods, as I said before, they can reflect to you your inner state, aspect of yourself, and then they'll teach you the lessons along the way that you need to learn. Odin, ego-centering, you know what I mean? Like, nothing lasts forever, but you want to be as stable as possible and do everything you can to be stable as possible. And Loki, he got punished in the myths. He had a few failures, but in the end, he also succeeded, because he ended up having children, and not only that, but he had his own, there was all these different realms. So in one of the realms, he was a ruler of his own, and then it was his child that took out Odin, because Odin punished Loki, because Odin was also a fierce person when need be, but he I forgot how many years it was, but he had Loki tied up in a cave, and the venom of a snake was dripping down on Loki for hundreds of years. And then they brought Loki out, but Loki didn't forget that. So they often can just reflect to you aspects of yourself, and You learn and grow and develop along the way. Yes. It's like with Yahweh. Some people might be like real ego tripping, or different people with different perspectives. Ego tripping. So he teaches them the lowering of the ego, because he requires them to continuously worship and obey him. Or maybe they had very abusive upbringing, or maybe they come from a society like the Jews had been through, under the oppression of so many empires, that they were standing up for themselves, but they were so imprinted upon them with what they had been through that they had to go about it that way. They had to have a dictator of a god, but at the same time it's like, because that's all they knew. That's all they knew. That's all they'd known for, I don't know how long, but at least hundreds of years, and so it was imprinted in their psyche. So why not make it that the ruler was one of their own? The ruler was one of their own, and so therefore they were the people who that ruler favoured, because for human history, hundreds of years, I don't know how long, but hundreds of years, they were not like that. So but at the same time, it's too much to just go the opposite route and be like airy-fairy, lovey-dovey, because it's like, because then if you have all these things, like if you're so accustomed to be dominated by parents or whatever, the danger is if you don't sort it out, you could take it out on your partner, or you could take it out on your kids. And for some people, they'll never be able to get to the point where they just are fully past it, So the best way to deal with it is to say that, I've done all this, but I am submitted, but I'm submitted to this God, right? So it's a invisible force that's doing it to them. It's not their partner, it's not their kids, it's not any human being. And if any human being stepped out of line to try and do that to them, they'll be like, well, you're not God, or you're not Goddess, so you don't get to speak to me like that, or you don't get to tell me what to do, And so he meets Eddie. Me personally, I don't need God to talk to me like that. I've passed that need. Life goes on. See you.